Now, Venezuela is in a state of crisis. Opposition leader María Corina Machado, who is now in hiding after being threatened with arrest, has called for protests in every single city of Venezuela to denounce the disputed re-election of President Nicholas Maduro.
This Saturday, August 3rd, we will gather as families with our children, grandchildren, grandparents in all cities of Venezuela at 10 a.m. In Caracas on Las Mercedes Avenue, because we are going to pay tribute to each one of those heroes who upheld and defended the will of the Venezuelan people on July 28th and who are now being pursued by the regime.
Machado wrote in an opinion article in the Wall Street Journal that she is in hiding and fearing for her life. She emphasized that Edmundo Gonzalez was the rightful winner of presidential election and called on the international community to help Venezuela. Now, Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro, on the other hand, has said that he is preparing 2 maximum security prisons for those detained during the protests that erupted after his disputed re-election.
I am preparing 2 prisons. Both prisons are to be ready in 15 days. They were already being restored. Tocoron and Tocoyito and all the Guarimberos are going to Tocoron and Tocoyito maximum security prisons.
This has concerned relatives of people detained in Venezuela's post-election crisis, waited outside a detention center in Caracas, hoping to hear from their loved ones.
Mr. President, it's not my fault to be here waiting for my grandson. I did not send him to do anything wrong. I don't condone his actions. You can burn me alive if you want, but release my grandson well and alive, because he is the only one I have.
Furthermore, Venezuela's Supreme Court has accepted President Maduro's request to audit election results. It has further ordered him, Edmundo Gonzalez and 8 other candidates who participated in the presidential election to appear before the justices today. Minutes after the Supreme Court's announcement, Maduro appeared before a crowd from a balcony of the presidential palace and welcomed the court's decision, saying that he will be present at the court today. On the other hand, the U.S. government has recognized Venezuelan opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez as the winner of the presidential election. It is discrediting the results announced by electoral authorities who declared that President Maduro has become victorious.
We know that at least 12 million people peacefully went to the polls and exercised their right to vote, and that the sum of more than the 80% of the tally sheets published by the Democratic opposition and received directly from polling stations show that Edmundo Gonzalez received an overwhelming majority of the votes in this election.
Now, earlier, Brazil, Colombia and Mexico called for an impartial verification of the results of Venezuela's presidential election. Brazil has taken over the administration of Argentina's diplomatic premises in Caracas, that's the capital of Venezuela, following the expulsion of Argentine diplomats by Venezuela's government. Now, 6 Venezuelan opposition figures are now taking refuge in the embassy. Brazil agreed to take care of Argentina's interests in Venezuela at the request of its neighbor. Argentina's diplomats were expelled by the government by President Maduro after Buenos Aires criticized his proclaimed re-election. Meanwhile, Venezuelans living in Buenos Aires and Brasilia gathered to ask for peace in Venezuela, as well as to demonstrate against the presidential election result. In Buenos Aires, people lit candles and sang songs during a vigil, spelling out the word peace on the ground. Then across in Brasilia, attendees prayed and said that they were defending their votes as they showed papers with tallies from voting centers gathered by the Venezuelan opposition. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.